Shalom. Kohalo Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem B'Kakadash B'Rakatham. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops with great millstones, and salutations to all my fellow laborers, doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, pursuant to Jeremiah 12 and 9, known as the speckled birds. I am disciple of Parium, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity as a follower of Great Millstone. So, I want to kind of share a brief story of myself, essentially, going through some hard times at work, right, and the slave ship. However, with this, I did seek out guidance from one of the officers at our camp, and who gave me some really good information. Obviously, you have people who are put in power over you or put in charge over you by way of the ordinances of the Most High, and the sooner you realize that you can't go petty for another petty action, the sooner you realize that, the better. And it was a very humbling experience. And then, kudos to my rib, for she told me some things very similar, but just not in the sense that the way a brother would in the truth. But I want to give kudos to her. But essentially, what this brother was saying, that you have to befriend those, especially if those like your family, who are put in charge over you. And this is Eve, by the way, who's over me. So we have to have a relationship with obedience, like kind of what our relationship and obedience to Yahweh Shai. Obviously, we're going to be firm with them when we have to be firm, because it's a work environment, but we also got to apologize when you go off, so that way you don't hold it in and it just eats at you. Okay. And so that way you can make peace. Because it's only just for a few hours, really, if you think about it. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and, before I go to my precepts, and the next thing is you can't let, the black woman, you can't use the black woman to dodge obedience. We have to be under a set of ordinances, and just know that it's just temporary. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and go with the first precept. This is Isaiah 3 and 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. So a lot of our people, they go off, and you see it in today's society, just a lot of things that are out of their order, out of their heavenly order, really. And so that's why you see children as your oppressors, and in some cases, women are ruling over you. Okay. So let's go to Matthew's 15 and 14. It says, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Okay. So yeah, just hey, let them be. You have to deal for a little bit, you have to endure, because it's only for a fleet moment. Let's go to Matthew's 15, same chapter. We're going to go down to verse 24. It says, actually, no, I might read the wrong one. Hold on. So it's lucky. So like in Matthew 23 and 24. It says, ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Okay, so I'll read that in the NLT. You strain at water so you won't accidentally swallow a gnat, but you swallow a camel. So basically, this is a solicitude, all right? And solicitude just goes into anxiety, care, concern over little things and none about greater matters. It says these people, on any consideration, be guilty of anything but anything much less take responsibility, show mercy, much less exercise faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. So let's go to Luke 22, verse 31 and 32. So you have to know when you're being sifted. You got to be vigilant, okay? And that's the title of this lesson is be vigilant lest you be sifted, okay? So this is Luke 22, verse 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, which is, this is Peter, behold, Satan hath desire to have you, that ye may be, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that the faith fail not, and when thou hast converted, strengthen thy brethren. And that's what we do in this lot. Especially if we have to be apt to teach. And I think I've gone over that before in the lesson. On to book of Romans 13 and 1. It says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. Okay. And I wanted to get an account that happened in the book of Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 27, verse 11 and 12. And this is during the time of the Babylonian captivity. It says, and essentially, Zedekiah was rebelling. And so this is what was told to him. It says, but the nations that bring their neck under the yoke of the king, Salaki, under the king of Babylon, and serve him, those will I let remain still in their own land, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, and they shall till it and dwell therein. I spake also to Zedekiah, king of Judah, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. And they did. So we know that we are here in the land of our captivity. Okay, we can't be going off like that, because essentially us rebelling all the time, first of all, it doesn't give us a good name, and know that people will know our good works. Okay, so we have to be peaceable when possible. Okay, so I wanted to read this commentary. This is from Bible Hub. This is, I believe, from Gill's commentary in BibleHub.com. It says the several forms of government are of human will and pleasure, but government itself is an order of Yahweh. There may be men in power who assume it of themselves and are of themselves and not of Yahweh, and others that abuse the powers that is lodged in them, who, though they are by divine permission, yet not of Yahweh's approbation and goodwill. And it is observable that the apostle speaks of powers and not of persons, at least not of persons, but under the name of powers, to show that the means, not this or the other particular prince or magistrate, but the thing itself, the office and the dignity of magistracy itself. For there may be some persons who may of themselves usurp this office or exercise it in a very illegal way, who are not of Yahweh, nor to be subject to by men. The apostle here both uses the language and speaks the sentiments of his countrymen. Here it says the Jews, right, who are wont to call magistrates powers. Hence, those sayings were used among them, says Shemaiah. It says, "Be not too familiar with the power." It's oftentimes dangerous, and that's when why we always have as a people, we always kind of have a fear of the power, but we don't really fully trust them, right? So you take heed of the power, for they do not suffer a man to come near them, but in necessity, and then they appear as friends for their own advantage, but will not stand by a man in the time of distress. Okay, and that's what's kind of alluding to in Proverbs 5:8, where it says, "Remove thy way far from her." This is heresy, right? It says, or a way of thinking, and come not nigh the door of her house. This is power. Since the gloss on it is magistrates, because they set their eyes upon rich men to kill them and take away their substance. Okay, so that's kind of going into Romans 13:1 right there. Want to go to Romans 13:2. It says, Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. I think that's plain right there, okay? We get real quick Hebrews, I believe it's verse 12:4, and it reads, "Ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. And we haven't resisted the blood. That time of Jacob's trouble is upon us. It's coming, but we haven't got there yet. But it tarry, wait for it. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son. Despise not that thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth," this is the point, "he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he received." Okay? So know when you're going through these times, and whatever it is in your life, it's for a reason, right? He's doing it for a reason because he loves you, right? And you have to know whether you're being tested. But also, pray, seek guidance. If you're following a camp, seek guidance from the officers, all right, the priests, and the elders, if when possible. All right, let's go back to Romans 13:3. "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same." Okay. So essentially, on verse 3, it says, governors neither do nor ought to inject terror into men that behave well. It says, obey the laws and keep a good decorum among their fellow subjects, not doing any injury to any man's persons, property, and estates. Here it says the Jews have a saying that a governor that injects more fear into the people than is for the honor of Yahweh shall be punished. and shall not see his son a disciple of a wise man. So let's go to Matthew's 5:11, and and again, I'm doing this because I was in a meeting yesterday, and it could have gone really bad, and I was praying underneath my breath, just praying to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to give me wisdom, to give me the speech that needed to be said at that point in time, and that the spirit not leave me, most first and foremost. And so, it got really tense in there, and I could have bucked up, soul said person, but I didn't want call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That did not happen. So this is Matthew's 5:11. It says, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." Okay. And I wanted to finish off real quick. In Sirach 25:7. It says, "There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter in my tongue, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy." Okay. So with that, Aki and Makwath, I pray this lesson was edifying, and I pray you learned something from this. I didn't want to go into detail on it, but it was a rough day yesterday. But through the Spirit, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I was able to get through and endure. Okay. So again, I pray this lesson is edifying. Abba Ba, Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom.